What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down 4 tips for football players to gain weight this summer. Let's get started. Now, before we get into this video, fellas, if you are a quarterback or wide receiver and would like 200 plus wide receiver and quarterback drills all mapped out for you with the exact sets and reps to follow and a video example of each specific drill, check out that very first link in the description below. You can get access to all of those drills, all organized into playlists labeled route running, throwing mechanics, the works, everything that you need to help your skills improve this year. So again, if you're interested in that, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. All right, guys, so now the first thing that I want to talk to you about in terms of gaining weight is going to be calories. So and again, I'm not a nutritionist. This is just something that has worked very, very well for me in the past, especially when I was playing football and needed to pack on weight. More specifically, that sophomore to junior year jump, I probably gained, I would say maybe 25 to 30 pounds, which I felt was a lot, especially for a guy who's not that tall. I'm like 5'9", 5'10" on a good day. So this stuff is what worked best for me, right? And I think this could work for a lot of you guys out there who maybe don't have a ton of money to spend on all kinds of diets, on all kinds of food, all kinds of supplements, etc. It's a very cheap way to do things, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is calories. So with calories, something that I tried to always be in was a calorie surplus. And I think if you look up any material on Google, any material on the internet about gaining weight, there's always something about staying in a calorie surplus. So what does that exactly mean? That just means you're consuming more calories than you burn. So as athletes, we are constantly burning calories, right? Especially if you're an active person, you know, especially being in high school, you know, you're walking from class to class, you have practice, you have weights, maybe you have another practice, you have another training, you're constantly burning calories. So something that I recommend investing in, and this is probably the most expensive thing that you're going to have to buy throughout the course of you trying to gain weight, is something that's going to help you count the calories that you take in, right? So you should be, or calories that you burn, excuse me. So like if you know, there are different tools, different things that you could strap to your body while you work out that count calories that you burn. I highly recommend getting one of those so you know where you're at. So you know how many calories you need to consume on a daily basis. Or look up some kind of calorie calculator on Google. There's a ton of information and there are a ton of products out there that you can use. So you need to factor in how many calories am I burning, right? That's what you need to know on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, maybe even on a monthly basis if you want to get that detailed. Then you have to reverse engineer that and figure out how many calories you need to eat that are going to help you stay in that calorie surplus. So high calorie foods, you know, like chicken for protein, I would say, like eggs, obviously. Then you got, you know, certain wheat, then you have brown rice, white rice, sweet potatoes. All of those things have high calorie foods. If you just Google high calorie foods, there is a list of a bunch of different foods that you guys can have. So you need to be consuming those foods. You need to set aside time to where you can eat so you could stay in that surplus. Because if you're in a calorie surplus, you are going to gain weight, but it's just how many calories are you taking in versus the amount of calories that you burn. So like, let's say for example, you burn 1,000 calories a day, but you're only taking in like 1,200 calories a day. It's not really that enough to be able to gain that much weight. So what I would always try to do is just stay in that big calorie surplus, try to eat as much as I could to be able to gain as much weight as I could. But it was healthy calories. I wasn't going to McDonald's. I was eating stuff like chicken breast, brown rice, sweet potato, those healthy, high calorie foods, not only to give me fuel for workouts, but also to help me stay in that surplus. All right, guys, so the second thing that I want to talk about is going to be protein. So we're going to get into obviously some different gym exercises and things you should be focusing on in the gym to help you guys put on size. But I want to talk about food first because I feel like not enough people know about this type of stuff, okay? So now, protein. This is something that I would always try to stay in the 1 to 1.5 gram per pound of body weight range, right? So like, let's say, for example, I think going into my junior year, I think I weighed something like 150 pounds and I was able to get up to like 175, 180, right? So if I weigh 150 pounds, what I was trying to consume is I was trying to consume 165 to 170 grams of protein a day. So let's factor that in, right? Like you maybe have like 5 eggs for breakfast, you have 2 chicken breasts for lunch, and then maybe you have a snack in between those 2 meals, breakfast and lunch and dinner. And then for dinner, you know, you have some kind of meat, you have some kind of chicken breast, whatever it is. That still will probably put you around like that 135 gram range, right? So what do you think you have to do? You have to supplement maybe with like a protein powder. Now, is that the best type of protein for you? No. Like I think everybody can agree the best type of protein to get is from food. But sometimes, especially being an athlete, you're constantly on the go. You don't have time to meal prep and map out all this stuff, especially if you're a kid, you know, and your parents cook meals for you. Obviously, like it's tough ask of your mom, like, hey, could you make me 3 extra meals? Like that's not usually going to go over too well, right? So having a protein powder is a great way to supplement in and get that protein gain, right? Some people don't respond the best to protein powder. That's totally fine. Food is always the best source of protein, but protein powder is a great way to get that in. Now, Why is protein important? It's because as athletes, and again, if you guys want a good protein powder that I recommend that's very easy on the stomach, especially too if you have bad reactions to like a lot of dairy, milk products, just post something in the comment section below. I'll shoot you over a link to it. Pretty affordable, honestly, too. Like, and it's a good protein. It's very, very light, okay? So now, why do we need protein? Because as athletes, constantly tearing down your muscle tissue, right? So let's say you're in the gym, you're lifting heavy, you're trying to gain weight, you're lifting for reps, you're doing all this stuff. And as athletes, what do we normally do? We have like 2 workouts a day, usually, like when we're in the thick of it, right? Like we have a field workout, we have a gym workout, maybe you're doing extra work on your own time. You're constantly breaking down muscle tissue in your body, right? So when you're breaking down muscle tissue, that's good because that's what's gonna help you get bigger, that's gonna help you get stronger, obviously, and put on size. But if you're not doing anything for recovery to repair those micro tears in your muscles, then you're not gonna gain any size. It's actually gonna work against you because you're constantly gonna be tearing down your muscles. So, guys, you have to consume protein to help repair those broken down muscle fibers, or muscle tissue, I should say, in your body. And that's what protein does. So that's why it's important to try to get that 1 gram per pound of body weight range. All right, guys, so now we are going to be talking about stuff that you should do in the gym to be able to gain weight. So when it comes to gaining weight in the gym, there's a lot of different information out there, like different workout splits you should do. Should I go push-pull? Should I just work on a specific body part? And I think you want to try to train as realistic to what you are going to be doing when you get to the collegiate level of football, right? And so the collegiate level of football, I'll give you some insight from the workout plan that I had to do. It was just upper body, lower body. So the workout split that we did was, I think it was upper body on Monday, and it might be flipped, but it was upper body on Monday, lower body on Tuesday, speed work on Wednesday, kind of a recovery day. Then we'd go Thursday, upper body, Friday, legs again. So it would kind of be like we would alternate, I guess you could say, but we would work our entire upper body and our entire lower body. However, there were guys that needed to put on weight, so they would get a specific workout program to help them try to gain, size and gain muscle mass, right? So I think what's good to be able to put on size in the gym is not necessarily lifting crazy heavy for like 2 to 3 reps. That's going to help you with strength. And that's a mistake that I made a lot of. I thought that, okay, the more weight I put on, the less reps I do, that's the bigger I'm going to get. You'll get stronger. Don't get me wrong. You might get more explosive as well, but you're not going to put on size. What I saw the best result was, like I would do, obviously, like let's say it was a core lift like squats, right? So I'd be doing squats and I would stay in like maybe like an 8 to 10 rep range, but I would supplement that with other exercises like doing a superset or maybe a drop set of like a front squat, a split squat, like a heel elevated squat, like a goblet squat. And doing those exercises higher reps, like 10 to 15 reps, and having that core lift be in that 6 to 10 rep range, that's where I saw the best benefit from, right? So if you're doing, like, let's say, for example, and I don't recommend doing bench press if you're a quarterback watching this. There are plenty of other upper body exercises that you should do. But let's say you're a receiver trying to get bigger and you're doing bench press. I would stay in that 8 to 12 rep range, 6 to 10 rep range on bench. But other exercises like maybe flies, maybe push-ups, I would try to stay in that like 10 to 15 rep range. That's just, at least for me, what I saw the best results with and the best muscle gain with if I took care of that protein intake like we mentioned earlier in this video. All right, guys, so the last thing that I want to talk to you about weight gain is going to be sleep. And sleep is something that is not talked about enough, at least especially in the football space. I feel in the athletic training space, I think people are always talking about, the next best exercise, the next best meal plan, workout plan that you should be doing. But you have to take your recovery so seriously if you're an athlete. So it's not just about sleep, I guess you could say. It's also about your recovery. So you got to be getting, especially if you're a kid watching this, I would say anywhere from 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night so you can get the most out of your workouts. And when you start getting on that string of 7-8 hour nights, and then you get like maybe a night where you get 5 or 6, you stay out a little late, you're maybe not as dedicated, then you really feel it. And the workout the next day is complete crap, and you're constantly trying to battle back from you losing sleep. So you have to make sleep a priority. Now, listen, it really comes down to just how bad do you want it and how disciplined are you going to be in terms of these things that are away from the gym and away from the field. Because here's the thing, all of us as athletes, when we go to practice, we do the same exact practice, right? We do the same exact things. We have the same exact workout plan in the gym, especially if you're in high school, you're all doing the same things. So what are you going to do to separate yourself, right? Because you have practice, you have weights, maybe you have a workout on your own, but what a lot of guys don't do is they take their recovery seriously. And that is something that you can use to separate yourself from the competition and help you put on size. Because if you're in the gym and you're trying to do those workout tips that we just gave you in the last video, that rep range, the types of workouts that you do, increasing the intensity of your workouts, whatever the case may be, and you're not rested completely, guys, you're not going to be getting the most out of your workouts. When you're tired, it feels like you're not putting on and you're not getting anything out of your workout. So you have to get sleep. Now, another thing that I recommend is taking care of your body with some kind of either, massage gun, ice bath. Those are things that worked very, very well for me. I remember I would take maybe 2 or 3 ice baths every single week. And, there's probably people who say that ice baths aren't good for you, etc. There's so many different opinions out there. That worked very, very well for me. I felt like that got a lot of the lactic acid out, especially if you would foam roll, especially if you would stretch. So the next day, I was ready to go. I was ready to get after it and get the most out of the workout, and I could stack days, while as other people, they were doing the same workouts as me, but they weren't getting the same out of it as they weren't taking their recovery seriously. And it really is honestly just a discipline thing, guys. Set a time to work out. And usually if it's practice, you already have a set time to work out, but set a time to go to sleep, non-negotiable, so you could recover and separate yourself from the competition and help you put on more size this year. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you're a quarterback or wide receiver and would like 200 plus wide receiver and quarterback drills that you guys can do, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to get you on those. I'll see you guys next time.